Like a lot of people, my favorite thing in the morning is my first cup of coffee. I really enjoy sampling different coffees from around the world and going to different coffee shops. So when we were traveling full time in the RV, one of my favorite things was to try out any of the local roasters, any of the local coffee shops. Um, and it was a lot of fun. I really fell in love with Old Bisbee Roasters in Bisbee, Arizona. Kind of sparked my desire maybe to learn a little bit more about roasting. My friend Jill Sessa also recommended a book to me called The Good Life Lab by Wendy Tremaine. And in it, she does a lot of homesteading. Her and her partner, Mikey, do a lot of homesteading type stuff. They're big thrift store people, and they roast their own coffee using a hot air popper. And so I looked up how to do that and found my first popper at a thrift store and started to roast, pretty much just winging it, going off a YouTube video and Mikey's description in the book. So I thought I'd show you, since roasting coffee is still one of my passions. Um, you guys can probably hear Happy. He thinks that he's being neglected. So, anyways, I have since moved up just for the amount of volume of coffee that I'm roasting now for farmers market. I've moved up to these coffee roasters. This is the Baymore coffee roaster. It can do up to about a pound, and I was gifted a second one. And so here's some coffee that I've roasted today, this morning. This is a Guatemala from De La Finca Coffee Importers, one of my favorites. They do direct trade. And I'll be doing a little bit of Honduras from Legacy Farms as well. So it's really fun. You get to try out different kinds of coffees from all over the world and find the one that you like, maybe one you've never even heard of. So when roasting with a hot air popper, it's important to get the right kind. You'll find lots of them out there, especially if you go thrift storing or at a retailer. If you're buying new, you'll see a lot of different ones, but not all of them are made equally. So it's important to find the right kind. Again, the West Bend hot air corn popper is a great one. The Poppery 2 is also a great one. One of the first things you'll want to look for are these little vents in the sides of the heat chamber. And so what you'll see in some of the new ones is that the bottom is mesh and there aren't the vents on the side. And from my understanding, the vents on the side are what keep the temperature up and keep the beans from settling on the bottom. So you'll want to find one with vents on the side, just like this. And then you'll flip it over and look for the small print on the bottom for the wattage. And let's see if I can get this to focus. So this one is 1200 watts. So you'll want over 1000 watts for roasting coffee. The only modification I did was take off the cover and install, it's called a chimney. It's just a tin can that I cut both ends off of and cleaned out and then installed in here just to help keep the heat retained, keep the chafe, which you'll see in a minute, from settling down into the bottom and keeping the beans from popping out. So it's not 100% necessary. There are lots of different tutorials online on how to actually modify these units for optimal use. This was the only modification I've ever done. So one thing about the hot air poppers is that they can only roast a small amount at a time. So I'm going to do about 2 ounces. And we'll go ahead and use this lovely Honduras from Legacy Farms. So I'll measure out 2 ounces here. And these are our green beans, our beautiful green beans. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. So 2 ounces is not a whole lot. Actually a little bit over 2 ounces, or 62 grams. So we'll roast that up, see how it does. One thing about this hot air popper, it does not have an on-off switch. It just turns on when you plug it in. So it'll get loud, and you'll see. We're going to just dump the beans in here and shake the unit up so that the beans don't overheat. And then I also have a wooden spoon to stir. So the vents will allow the beans to move a little bit, but if you have, like I do, a little over 2 ounces, they may not move until they start to lose some of the water weight. Okay, and I'm hearing first crack now. I don't know if you caught that, it just a quick snap. The beans are spinning quite quickly now. And I'm hearing first crack. So if you can see in there, the beans are cracking. This would be a light roast when they first start cracking. We're going to let this go all the way through first crack. And we're just starting into second crack. Can be a little bit fainter than first crack. So I heard the first couple of second crack. And I don't want to go too dark with this roast, so I'm going to get my cooling basket ready. And just simply unplug the unit and dump it immediately into a cooling basket, and then cool it as fast as possible. It's the ambient air temperature. But as you can see, hopefully, here are our beans. So a nice medium dark roast. So this will make several cups of wonderful coffee. Again, this is Legacy Farms, Honduras, Lempira, shade grown directly from the farm, from Ashley Williams, who owns Legacy Farm. So beautiful coffee here. So a couple things that might make things difficult or different for your roasting is, like right now our ambient air temperature is probably 40 something. So the cooler it is outside, the longer it can take to roast. Also, if you plug this into an extension cord, that could knock the wattage down, so it could take a lot longer. And some people do that on purpose. So if you find that your coffee roaster or your air popper is roasting way too fast, and in the summertime I've had this thing roast in just a couple minutes, and so maybe the coffee flavor isn't developing like you want, you could add a little extension cord. Start with maybe a 10-foot extension cord and see if it slows down your roasting time. Conversely, something like today where it's cold out and it's taking a long time for this to roast, longer than normal, we don't want to bake the beans, we want to roast them. So plugging this directly into a wall outlet would be better than running. I currently have these two hot air poppers on my eBay store. They're for sale. One is the exact same model that I used to make the video, and that's the West Bend corn popper. And the other one is a Proctor Silex popcorn pumper. Both are the correct models for roasting beans at home. So you can find those at my eBay store. I'll try to link that in the video if I can figure out how to do that. And who knows, hopefully they'll sell quickly, but that money once again goes to our rescue animals. We do appreciate your support. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at Tales from the Mutiny. Also on Instagram at Tales from the Mutiny. Our blog is talesfromthemutiny.com. You can find a affiliate store link there, as well as our Facebook page, and hit that subscribe button below.